Hey everybody, Todd from the Bueller Bunch. You think the roof is where you could get leaks? Think again. We are going to go into that right now. You know, everybody is just impeccable or fanatical about their roof. There are several parts of your roof that you need to be aware of. And one of them is right here. Right here. This is not the roof, but this is right here. This is rubber trim that covers all those railings that make all these connections. Under those is the screws. What happens with that rail, because they've got to cover up the screws, because screws go into the body. And if they didn't do it right, then the water goes in places of least resistance. So they put a rubber topping on it. Now these seams, well, they seem pretty unimportant, but they're not. They're super important because underneath this rubber seal is a set of screws that screw everything and keep things together. And these things break down over time. And we've had our trailer for, well, we're going on almost 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, 2.5 years, somewhere around there. So what we're finding is this plastic or this rubber is breaking down. Why? Because of the sunshine. Well, the sun breaks down everything. The elements really are harsh on your RV. But one of the things that's neglected when you are thinking about your RV and how you should upkeep it are these stupid little rubber seals. Now, you can put the same ones back. You really can. It doesn't hurt. However, there is a better alternative that will help even prolong everything underneath that rail better, and I found that product. I did a lot of searching on the internet, and the internet obviously is a great place for searching. However, it can give you some bad results too. But there was one YouTube channel that literally all this guy does is do roof repairs and repairs on RVs from water damage. And one of the things he suggested was to really take a look at these rails. These rails are extremely important, and the quickest way for water to get into your trailer are those screws, because those screws go into your trailer. Well, half the time they don't bother putting any kind of Dicor or any kind of silicone or anything like that underneath them or on the screws themselves. They just put this plastic or rubber railing cover on it. However, the one that they put on it allows the water to kind of pool up and go inside that rail. Well, once it's inside the rail, it's going to go into the screws. If the screws aren't protected with some type of a silicone or a Dicor, then it's going to infiltrate into your trailer. Water does tons of damages to trailers. Most of the trailer problems are because of roof water leaks. Talking resale, you can't resell it because you've got water damage. Don't want that to happen on our trailer. So we're being preventative, even if it doesn't need it. Now, the one thing that I found, all of a sudden, I went on a recent camping trip, and you can see that here. I'll post it here. On our recent camping trip, we not only had battery things go on, but we all of a sudden noticed some of our trim is actually pulled away and is broken away. So in looking at it, it looks pretty brittle, pretty thin. Okay, so I'm gonna climb up the ladder here. And this is what I noticed. I noticed that on ours, that the trim has actually, this is what it looks like. And if you're feeling this, I don't know if you can hear that. It doesn't sound too rubbery to me. It sounds really kind of plasticky. This stuff has deteriorated over time, and it just ended up showing its age and popping out. But it also pulled away from the top of the trailer. You'll see it up here. It pulled away. You can see that they had actually Dicored the end of it so that they can keep the water from going into this rail. And you can also see that the screw, you can see that there is no silicone or anything kind of keeping the water away from going into the screw, even if it gets in behind that. So it's just a design issue. I'm sure they get this stuff pretty cheap, But you'll see that this stuff is, you know, you just need to maintain these, and these are seals. Now this rubber gasket I have, this is the one that I found that fit us. Now you'll notice when it comes flat. So you're going, oh my goodness, that's not gonna fit. Well, you've got to kind of bend it, and that's how it goes into your rail, and then it sits on top. But you can also see that there is a different part of the top here that allows the water, once it hits it, instead of pooling inside that rail cavity, it actually sheds the water away from the rail. So in our case, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna replace as much as we can with as much stuff that we have. Now with anything, obviously, you wanna make sure that this is gonna fit. So again, this is the first time I've done this. So as you can see, this stuff is just a flat piece of rubber that they've stuck in there. And again, you can see the dust and the dirt, and that's just got underneath mine. So you want to make sure that this is going to fit, and this fits by just squeezing it in, and you can see the difference. Believe me, this is not hard. You can see the difference instantaneously, that this looks much better because the water would hit here, go over the side, as opposed to hitting here and going in the crack. And you could see, if you look down that, how much of a gap there is. And then you look on this one, I haven't squeezed it up to the top yet, but you can see how that doesn't allow it to go anywhere inside that rail at all. Another thing to do is when you're checking these screws, if you'll notice, this one kind of is backed out. Yeah, it's a good time to inspect your screws. If you see these are rusty, if you see these screws as rusty, you've got water infiltration into those screws. So be very careful and watch what you're doing. Like I said, if you see rust, where there's rust, there's moisture or water. The caulk I'm going to use inside the railing on the screws, because it's metal on metal. I'm not going to use Dicor, I'm going to use this stuff. It's called Big Stretch. This, you can use it on the outside of your trailer, along the edges of the windows. This stuff really works very well. There's all kinds of different opinions. I get it. I'm not sponsored by anybody. This was just the material or the thing that I thought would be the best for me, and from what I understand, that's how everybody suggests this in some way, shape, or form. You know, I like to do things around the house, but did you know that most of these, this is what you put this in and squeeze it out with, they actually come with a cutter. That's where you put this, and you just put that in there and snap away. Well, at least that's what it's supposed to do. It looks like they may have made a mistake there. They also come with this thing. It's a pokey thing. Well, apparently it's even been glued on there. But this comes with a little pokey thing that you just poke down there, and that pokes this open. So if you didn't know that on a caulking gun, well, now you do. Remember when I was telling you about how to detect if you've got water? Well, this rail here, which is vertical, is allowing the water to go in, seep in, and sit in this drip rail. When I took this off, you can see the moisture. The screws are different. So I'm going to clean all of that out. Even though that they siliconed this, it still went into that railing, and that railing is wet inside, and it holds that moisture. So I'm gonna dry all this out. Yeah, you can even see right where my fingernail is, there is water just sitting in there. You never know what you're gonna find. Something vertical like this, I think the water is easily drainable, and it keeps it pretty clear. However, again, mine was cracking. I even found this one on this side cracking. But this vertical rail, and remember, you've got these types of rails where? By your gutter. What goes in your gutter? Water. So I got some work to do. When I was cleaning my railing out, you can see how much moisture, gook, and dirt got in there. And that is pretty concerning, because obviously that little rail is not draining because it is a vertical rail. So you just got to be careful. So I've cleaned it all out. I don't know if you can see it, but in that rail on that whole bottom lip was this muck and dirt and mud. Probably see a little bit of it and still stuck in there. But I just wiped that out. I'm letting it dry in the sun just to get that moisture out. I will, again, I will muck up the silicone, those screws. And you can see even when you take these railings off, what they did or didn't do. So I will put something in those holes. They kind of screw it so it just sits there. But once you get your trailer, you have to be preventative. And this is just knowledge. And I'm hoping I'm giving you some knowledge in regards to this. Like I said, it's just preventative. And good luck to you guys. I hope that all of the information that I've given you has been informative. Again, I'm not an expert at this, but you know, who is? Even the experts are not experts. And obviously when we trust people to build our trailers, we're thinking that they're experts, but in some cases that doesn't seem to be. Thanks for coming out. As you see, my roof really wasn't a problem. However, those seals, they're extremely important. So get out there, get a little preventative. It doesn't take much. It's very easy. The hardest part of this whole thing is probably getting up on a ladder and unscrewing things. I mean, that's it. There's no electricity. There's nothing really to worry about in regards to just this simple fix with your seals along your trailer. And they're everywhere. Once you start looking, you're going to go, holy smokes, they're everywhere. They're along your gutters, they're along your front rails. Anytime you got a seam, that's where they stick those metal rails and screw it all in, thinking that everything is fine. However, that's the worst place and the easiest place for water to get into. So I'm glad you came along with us this week. So this is Todd signing off. Until next time, have a great day. Oh man, I love being on the roof. You get the whole, I mean, we need an upper deck. That's a new video. Let's make an upper deck. Yeah, upper deck, a sun deck. That ought to be fun. I wonder.